Okay, it's Mark from Talk Beliefs and Neil from Reason now, and we've been away, haven't we? Again, I've been in Ireland filming, you were in Portugal, and you're going away to Portugal again, I believe.
Yes, going to just check out the house and see the work's being done on it, see how it's going.
Cool. And you get away from all the nonsense in this country here.
Yeah, be glad to get away from Brexit talk for a little while, for a week.
Oh, God. Speaking of nonsense, I think we're just going to launch right into it because in the interim we found some pretty incendiary stuff. Have you heard of this young Christian preacher called Matt Powell on the internet?
I hadn't heard of him actually before.
Yeah.
You showed me this article.
Yeah, it comes from deadstate.org. A young Christian preacher says, atheists drink Coke all day and are addicted to video games. Matt Powell is a young Christian preacher with only a small YouTube following, but one of his videos is getting a lot of attention this week. In a video uploaded to his own channel titled 22-Year-Old Preacher Rants Against Atheist Losers, I am assuming he titled that himself, Powell laments how atheists freak out whenever the subject of evolution is brought up. I find it's the creationists who freak out.
I don't think they freak. I think he's misunderstanding frustration.
To get freak out at the wanton misunderstanding of evolution and how it works.
Yeah.
And he says, why would I believe in evolution? It's stupid, Powell said, adding that theists who believe in evolution actually defy science. Well, first of all, we don't believe in evolution.
Okay, so if he's saying stuff like that would explain why atheists are getting freaked out over evolution.
I get freaked out, yes.
They're just frustrated to hell.
I mean, the comments I've heard on my channel, I've had somebody once say to me, there are no fossils. And that was his comment under one of my evolution videos.
That's it. It's a definitive statement. It's true. Oh, dear. So if he's calling people stupid because they believe in evolution, it's no wonder people get a bit het up.
And we're going to play an audio clip from the video in a second. Because we live in a school where it's just fill in the blank, he continued, they're not taught to logic, they're not taught to reason. I thank God I was in a home where I at least got taught how to logic.
How to logic. Okay.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, what does that actually mean?
I don't know. I think we should play this audio clip just so the anyone who's not heard this wonderful man can have a listen to his rhetoric.
It's amazing. I don't like to get on the subject of evolution with atheists because they just freak out. They're like, oh my, I can't believe you don't believe in evolution. Why would I? It's stupid. You have to actually defy science. Oh, it's scientific. Well, what about this? Oh, I never thought of that. Oh, I never really even crossed my mind. Because we live in a school where it's just fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank. They're not taught to logic. They're not taught to reason. I thank God I was in a home where I at least got taught how to logic. You know? And you know what all these atheists have in common? You know, they've been attacking us online. They put out a little 2-hour documentary trying to expose the one pastor and I put out, and Brother Brandon put out a 2-hour documentary. You know what all these atheists have in common? Video games. They all play video games. And Harry Potter, you get on their channel, they're in fantasy land. That's all they ever do. They can't think for themselves. They sit back and they drink Coke all day and sit behind a video game system and then wonder why, you're crazy, Brother Powell, for believing in a creator. Oh, you're insane. No, you're crazy, and you need to get off the video game system, and somebody needs to preach to them the gospel of Jesus Christ, and so that they can be saved. That's what we need. And I'm sick and tired of these stinking video games messing with people.
Neil, he's sick and tired of these video games, these stinking video games. He doesn't sound 22, he sounds like 68 or something.
Yeah, what is going on there?
I think he's taken this from someone else. Perhaps his dad's a preacher or something. He's listened to somebody who's a lot older than him and is copying it word for word.
And when he's talking about bringing up evolution with atheists, and you say, have you thought about this? But he's not, and then just...
He doesn't say what this is.
Doesn't say what this is.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to think about it. Tell me what you want me to think about.
A wizard did it.
And his audience are like cheering him. Have you thought about this? What? What do you want me to think about? For Christ's sake. Just because you say, have you thought about this? You don't prove 200 years worth of science wrong. Sorry, Mr. 22-year-old. I'm better at logicking than you.
Well, do you think, Neil, that he's genuine, or he's just a provocateur? He's just somebody who wants to build up a following. He knows what to say, what buttons to push. He goes home, he probably drinks Coke and plays video games himself and doesn't even believe in God. What do you think?
Well, definitely could just be trying to build a following. He sounded really scared. He sounded as if...
That's a good point.
He's not really been into the outside world much, and he's encountering these things, and he sounded scared. As if his whole worldview is being questioned, maybe for the first time.
Perhaps he lived
Because
in a very
now he's
small
online,
town.
maybe because now he's online, and he's only ever encountered people who think like he does, and he's being challenged. So I don't know, it's weird. And the whole video game thing, we get this from all quarters, and it's not just religious people. Video games are ruining the world, kids are violent because of video games. Do you know when the most violence was? Before video games. Do you know when the least violent time to live is? Now.
I'm sure Stephen
Now,
Pinker
right
could probably
now.
provide us a chart that shows that.
Right now, when video games are the most realistic they've ever been, is the least violent time to live in. So stop this nonsense about blaming video games for violence and for not being able to think, for Christ's sake. That's just annoys the hell out of me. Probably because I like video games. But
See, you do like them, which is fair enough. I've never played one really in my life.
no,
so,
exactly. But facts are facts.
Yeah.
The most violent times in our history, there were no video games available. So stop this nonsense. Kids always used to run around with bits of stick pretending to have guns killing each other. Look at the Crusades. I remember reading about the knights playing Grand Theft Auto before they got on their horses and went over and
there was.
killed
I'm
millions.
sure there was some equivalent of it back then. Wooden sticks or something stabbing each other.
I think people just can't hate the fact that there is some really nastiness in human nature, and sometimes.
And did you notice in that he said, they're always attacking us, and then he immediately turns that to an ad hominem attack against atheists, saying they're always playing video games and drinking Coke all day long, which is not the most damning thing in the world. But first of all, how would he know what every single atheist is doing in the comfort of their own home? And second of all, what does that got to do with the prize of shit anyway?
Yeah, I know. And what's the beef with Harry Potter as well?
Oh yeah, Harry Potter is in some evangelical circles, he is pure evil because he uses magic, spells, and that's straight from the devil.
That just sounds like fear, doesn't it? I mean,
And we had to have
a
whole
fictional character.
Harry Potter book burning sessions I've seen online.
Wow. Wow. But the thing is, there's plenty of religious people out there play video games and like Harry Potter.
And there are such things as Christian video games.
He's obviously trying to build a brand. He's watched what other preachers have done online, and that did seem scared though. He's going to have to get better at his arguments if he doesn't like atheists coming back at him.
This guy, Matt Powell, he's also known for having said in another one of his videos that homosexuals should be euthanized or put down humanely, something like that.
Yes.
And he said, "Oh, it's not me. It's the Bible. The Bible said it's not me."
No,
of course, it's him.
It's not that I'm a bigot.
It's him, of course.
Of course, he's the bigot.
And if there was no Bible, he'd probably still feel the same. He just wouldn't have as a beautiful way of articulating it.
Yeah.
So, as we want to go from the ridiculous to the sublime, which is some scientific reasons why we need to have more critical thinking in our lives, especially in terms of today's young people. This comes from bigthink.com. Why are unscientific beliefs increasing among millennials? Today we have the entire wealth of human knowledge literally at our fingertips. You would think that would pave the way for a cultural renaissance of sorts that might eclipse our 15th century Florentine forefathers, but that hasn't quite been the case. Many of our millennial cohorts have entered into a strange, unscientific and irrational milieu. Astrology is gaining steam as theory of personality. Flat earthers are actually growing in number. We know that, don't we? We've encountered a few. And you don't even have to stray that far from your local street corner preacher anymore to hear wild denials of the moon landing and other unqualified pundits propagating absurd conspiracies. So, and this is true because we've come across not just flat earthers, but people who look at all kinds of woo-woo. And it seems to be on the increase. I didn't know it was on the increase with young people.
Yeah, it definitely is from my experience in reason, the shop reason. The people that come in used to often think I was going to be sympathetic to some of these weirdo new woo-woo ideas. Unfortunately, some of them didn't like the shop and left, and actually some stayed around and had a talk and a think and changed their attitudes, which is really nice. But I think this comes down to, as a species, our brains want certainty, they want understanding. And as religion becomes less relevant in the world, especially to younger people, to millennials and younger, their brains are still looking for certainty. And if they haven't had the right education about reasoning, scientific thinking, scientific method,
Always comes down to that.
yeah, they're still going to be searching for certainty. And a lot of these woo conspiracies things, that sort of gives their brain certainty, even if there's no facts to it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because they're not looking for the facts, they're just hearing the initial information. The brain likes hearing that information. Oh, I'm going to keep that, and they think no further past it. And unfortunately, it is something that happens to people that are not educated as well, put it that way. A lot of times it's not their fault, it's just that they haven't been taught in the scientific method, and this is the proof in that is the fact that the people going into further education who are taught to reason more, they are more certain of themselves, they're more certain that they're in control of their futures, so they don't have as many of these woo-woo feelings. That's not to say they don't get rid of all of them, but they don't have as many. So if you're feeling out of control in your life and you're not really thinking it through that much, it makes life easier just to find some information you like and just to stop at that. It's comforting. There is something in our brain through evolution that has brought about this thing that we need this comfort and this certainty. And
Certainty, an explanation, reason, purpose.
Yeah, and it used to be religion that gave people that comfort, for opium of the masses.
Yes.
Of course. But now it seems to be any information they stumble across. Someone said it online, must be true.
These conspiracy theories that we're seeing, could be the new religion in a sense.
In a way, I would say that's probably true. And it's just a shame because, as the article said, all information that man has ever gathered is at your fingertips. You can literally find out anything you want to find out. So you would think we would be going for a second stage of enlightenment.
And you can fact check it. You don't just accept the first thing that comes along. We've got Snopes, of course. We've got all sorts of things.
Yeah, and there does seem to be a movement now, actually, because of all the fake news, because of Putin and Trump and Brexit and that stuff. There does seem to be a movement now to actually get the social media sites and that to use fact-checking service. So maybe once people start seeing the fact-checking replies more to these flat earth posts or conspiracy theories, maybe people will start to think a little bit more for themselves.
Okay, we have a quote in this article from Stuart, is it Vyse or Vyse, V-Y-S-E, psychologist and author of Believing in Magic, The Psychology of Superstition. He's written on the subject of millennial astrology, the rise of a generation that is not as traditionally religious as previous ones, but still seeking a kind of spiritual satisfaction, combined with the vanquishing of liberal politics in the United States and abroad, has created a fertile environment for this form of superstition and unreason. Vyse, citing a Finnish study that gave questionnaires to people signed up for adult education classes, explains that those signed up for astrology courses were more prone to have recently experienced more crises in their lives. His takeaway from this was that, so it appears that when people lose their footing and are shaken by the world, astrology provides a sense of order and control. I think that is really the crux of the problem there, as you were just saying.
Because it's a difficult realisation to come to that we are living in just
a random world.
A random world, chaotic world, that we are just here through sheer fluke of billions of eggs being fertilised.
And the world does strange things with what's going on in Hawaii and Guatemala at the moment with the volcanoes. Things happen, people die, and it's like, I cannot accept that this can happen anytime for no purpose. There must be a purpose for it, even if it means the Illuminati are actually in control, and it's a bad purpose. At least it's a purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the article goes on to say, unfounded claims and arguments that we never landed on the moon and that the Earth is flat have tired themselves out to any rational-minded person. Rather than waste valuable time debunking the treadmill of conspiracies, we instead need to look at why these views are taken up in the first place. Conspiracies, astrological love charts, and the like stem from a feeling of powerlessness, or the need to feel that you have special knowledge over others. What it boils down to is that with increased education levels, there came a feeling of being more in control, which then leads to a lessened belief in conspiracies and other kinds of superstitious thinking. So is what we said. It is education and critical thinking, and not just accepting the first thing which comes along.
Yeah, and it is education, and the thing is, we need people to get over this hump, as it were, that we're in at the moment.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to get through climate change with any semblance of a society as we recognise today, we can't have vast swathes of the population believing in nonsense.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've got to have them electing ministers and MPs and, for example, and senators and that who believe in the scientific method, who are going to push the scientific method to find solutions. Because otherwise we're just going to plod along and nothing's going to get done, and we're not going to get through climate change in a very good state. That's my fear from having such a large proportion of the population not using reason as a method.
And I like the way this article ends. It says, sometimes tragic events happen for no good reason. They're simply churning out of the chaotic pool of randomness. It's a much more comforting psychological function to believe that someone or some cabal is behind it all. I mean, that's an uncomfortable truth for some people. You know, this is something generated by us, like a coping mechanism.
Yeah, it is an uncomfortable truth. And I really like the fact that he says, rather than waste valuable time debunking the treadmill of conspiracies, we need instead to look at why these views are taken up in the first place. And then he obviously goes on to say that's education. Because many of us has probably been in that situation where you're just debunking, and it's so time consuming.
Yes.
And no one listens anyway. So let's get to the root cause. Let's get to the root cause of it. It's education.
Absolutely. And we can't really end the show without having a prime example of this. So I don't know if you saw a recent episode of This Morning with Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby, which is a mid-morning sort of program we get over here in England most days of the week. They had some flat earthers on.
Yeah.
And Philip, the host, he was not just baffled by them, but he was getting really frustrated with them. We'll just listen to a clip of it.
We've got a fantastic globe over here, right? I'm going to ask ISS, NASA, whatever, to zoom out of the Earth right now and show us planes. Let's zoom to show people walking upside down. Let's do that, and we will... I'll come back here and apologise.
The space station can't zoom out to 230. It can't zoom out to beyond where it is.
So can we get a probe out? Can we get a probe out?
We've done that.
It's only 250
Of the whole Earth, and showing aeroplanes flying upside down underneath the globe? Can we see that?
All we see is CGI.
There are apps that can show you that.
What, aeroplanes flying upside down?
Live.
No.
Wow.
Yes, there's the live positioning of all the aeroplanes on the world
Right,
are
but
on
look,
there.
but
Can you answer me a question? Because I have personally seen with my own eyes the curvature of the Earth.
Is he lying?
Is it the circle
he's a
vision
liar.
of
He's
your
not a liar, though.
Is it the circle limit of your sight? Because obviously the limit of our eyesight.
I was very
is a circle
lucky,
around you.
and I went on Concorde.
Okay.
So I was very lucky I went on Concorde. So that's 60,000 feet. You could clearly see the curvature of
What's
the Earth
the shape
from
of the
Concorde.
windows?
Actually,
Oh,
science.
it was the shape of the
No,
window.
I didn't say that. I said, what was the shape of the windows, is what I said.
Like an oval?
Scientists themselves
oval, right?
tell us that you have to be 50 miles up to be able to see the curvature of the globe. An average commercial plane travels at 7 miles, which is around 33,000 feet, 35,000
Which Concorde
feet.
wasn't.
You
What's
were
that?
about 10 or 12 miles, so we're still, again, way below what scientists themselves tell us.
Oh, I've got
you need
so
to be
many
able to
questions.
see
We're going to have to end this. I'm really sorry.
Producer,
I really want to ask you, but hold on.
Oh, the first thing that comes to mind when I hear that one of the guys, there's 3 of these flat earthers on one side of the couch, and one of them says, are you telling me that right now planes are flying upside down on the bottom of the Earth? Since when is there an upside down in space?
Oh, yeah,
They don't understand the center of gravity. They don't understand the 360-degree nature of the universe. I mean, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you heard that little bit there? And that was just some of it.
just that it's sad, and I'm glad Philip Schofield was giving him such a hard time telling the truth.
He looks genuinely pissed off that there are people in this country or anywhere
I mean,
that were touting this.
so disrespectful of all the scientific effort that's gone in, right from Greek times when they first figured out that the Earth was a globe, right to people who were building ships to navigate the world for Columbus, to the Wright brothers who made planes, to rockets.
I mean, this isn't a Galileo situation where, well, actually, you see, we aren't a geocentric universe. Because the evidence is so overwhelming on the other side, on the side that we know that the Earth is a sphere. We've sent, probes up into space. We've taken a shot of the Earth from even beyond the moon now.
Yeah, and you can see it's a circle, and you cannot see all of the countries at one time.
Yeah,
so how does that not prove it to them?
It's really arrogant, because what flat earthers are saying on one side of this saying is, to me it looks flat, therefore it is. It's all about my perception.
Yeah. But to not understand, okay, I mean, that's bad enough to even believe in a flat Earth, but to not understand that gravity means no matter where you are on the
Yeah, it's pulled towards
it's up. Everywhere's up.
Yeah. There's no up or down. You see, again, it's a very sort of human-centric view of looking at everything.
Yeah, it's just frustrating beyond belief. I guess for anyone who's listening to this and maybe thinking, oh yeah, but what about this conspiracy, that conspiracy? Conspiracy theories are fun because a few of them are true. Just some of them are true. Putin was trying to rig the US elections and Brexit. That's been found out to be true. That was conspiracy, and it's been found out to be true. There'll be lots of examples like that. But the big ones that people seem to hang their hat on, like chemtrails, like there's a cure for cancer that's been hidden. Just check out YouTube, in a nutshell, their videos. Great explanation of how you can just...
The armchair speculation ones.
Yeah, the armchair speculation ones. How you can just dismiss a whole swathe of them. And then if you still want to look into them, then find the more interesting ones.
Yeah.
Because the rule is, does it affect rich people? If it does, it's not true.
Follow the
Just
money.
move on.
Yeah.
Chemtrails, poison in the air. Do rich people breathe air? Yes, they do.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a cure to cancer. Do rich people die of cancer? Yes, they do. Steve Jobs, one of the richest men in the world, died of cancer. It's nonsense.
But he lived in a special hermetic bubble with Antarctic air that was imported especially for him.
And unfortunately, it was his woo-woo beliefs that led to his early demise. I'm not saying he would have been cured by traditional medicines, but it hastened his departure from this planet, unfortunately. Because
What happened there?
he was following lots of woo-woo type cures rather than just taking his doctor's advice, unfortunately.
And sadly, it goes
He
back
did
to
have a very bad type of cancer, so the likelihood of him dying was high. High anyway. But
yeah. See our previous article about education first, critical thinking, and then look at these conspiracy theories through the eyes of education and think again.
yeah. But so the thing is, if you want to feel more in control in your life, if you're feeling life is spiraling away from you and you're not controlling, you need to put it onto crystals or to astrology or whatever it is. That's a temporary fix. It's a temporary rush to your brain, and you'll feel better, but not for very long. If you really want to feel in control of your life, actually start to learn how things actually work, how to use the scientific
Don't
method.
believe in something external, believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
I have got the skills, because just cite something in your past where you overcome some fear or something like that and say, I did it before, I can do it again.
Exactly. And what little steps do I need to take to get to where I want to be? I've had depression. I've been lying on sofas feeling crap. But I took a training course that teaches you how your brain works. Alongside, at the same time, I was looking in
Evidence-based.
all evidence-based, completely evidence-based. None of this Dr. Oz nonsense. And just learnt how my brain worked. Learnt why I was having these feelings, how I was reacting to them, and do you know what? You can actually change yourself, and you can take control of your life. So, leave a anyone's got any questions, leave a comment, and we'll try to answer them. And I tell you what, if people are struggling, we'll try to point them in the direction to help them out.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to leave a comment below and want to ask a question, if perhaps you're struggling yourself, we know some people who we might be able to point you towards. And I think on that note, we're going to go out and we're going to enjoy the world, are we?
The round world.
Yes, the round world.
The globe.
And don't forget to look for the curvature of the Earth, because you'll be flying soon. So
Yeah, not quite high enough. But you can still just about... we don't get very high going to Portugal, but you can still just about make out the curvature.
yeah. Okie doke. See you when you get back.
Cheers.